What's up everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. In these videos you'll learn how to use technical analysis to forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others so you can make accurate and precise entries and exits on your crypto investments. Before I dive into it, just a quick reminder that everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. All right, so starting off with Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, we are absolutely pumping right now. We're up at 61,370. We started off the month at 43,820. So we have risen just in the month of October about 40%. So very significant rise in price. We're quickly approaching a new all-time high. Our previous all-time high was up here at about 64,854. So we're about 5.6% away from that high. If we do break to a new high here this month, what that will signal to us is that we are in what's called price discovery, which is where people in the market are trying to discover and appraise what the asset's price should actually be, in this case Bitcoin. So when you see that as an investor, the way that I think about price discovery is that's when I can actually make an entry into that crypto asset very early when it gets into price discovery, because that is when you have the highest potential upside for that investment. And the reason for that is because there's pretty much unlimited potential in terms of where that asset can go based on the people in the market, the humans that are operating in the market, and what they think the asset could be worth. I mean, a lot of people think the asset could be worth far over $100,000. Therefore, there is a significant incentive as an investor to buy more Bitcoin once we get into the early stages of price discovery. So for me, I would probably be adding to my position somewhere up in the 66K range. So another thing we need to keep in mind on this rise is eventually we're going to have to come down and form a higher low. Our last higher low was down here at 28.8 roughly, and we've risen already from that low about 115%. Now on this monthly time frame, I have been looking for a lower high to be set somewhere below this previous all-time high set here in April, and it's becoming more and more unlikely that we're going to see that because of the lower time frame price action that we're seeing that's trending upwards and driving this price up towards a new high. So from an investment standpoint, I really am looking at this and saying, okay, my previous thesis that I had that we were going to be setting a lower high in the monthly time frame where I'd be looking to take some profits and then buy back in lower is now no longer valid. So I am going to be looking to buy in on the lower time frames like I already have, and ride this trend that we're seeing upwards to higher prices. So that's what we're seeing on the monthly time frame. Let's go down to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we are 2 days and 8 hours away from closing this weekly candle. And in yesterday's video, I talked about, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, I talked about this key high right here being the area that we're looking at in terms of a potential drawdown in price. And the reason is because right above this high, there's a bunch of stop losses. So people went short right here, and after they went short, they put their stop loss above this high, saying if we go above this high, I want to exit my short position because I no longer think the price is bearish. So when people are getting stopped out of a short position, they're buying their assets back, because a short is when you're borrowing some of the assets from the exchange to then sell them and go short on the asset. So that creates buying pressure. So when the price goes above this key high like we have today, that causes the price to increase, but it also causes a lot of liquidity, so the whales can fill their positions, and if they would like to go short, can fill those shorts without moving the price down significantly because there's so many buyers here. So what I'm going to be looking for this trend to really continue to new all-time highs is I want to see this weekly candle close above this high. If we can close above this high, I will be very, very bullish and think that, I will be, in my opinion, it'll be very likely we're going to continue into blue sky territory here very soon. So from a support and resistance standpoint, there's no weekly resistance up here. There is also no weekly support established yet until this weekly candle closes. Once that weekly candle closes, this candle right here will be our new support zone for price. and that starts at about 47,347. So it's a ways away, but right now, from a weekly perspective, if we look at some of the trend following indicators like the Ichimoku cloud, we're still in the most bullish scenario that this pattern, or this indicator rather, can be in. So looking very good there. From an a SuperGuppy perspective, here was another buying opportunity using this indicator. If you don't know how to use this indicator, check out our video where we break that down for you. But these longer term EMAs, these green EMAs, are the buying zone for investors in a bull trend. These will be green. So that's going to be the area we're going to be looking to buy. If they're in a bear trend, they will be red. And that's where you will look to go short. So let's go down to the lower time frames here now. If we go to the 2-day perspective here, we can see that we are operating above the last main resistance zone here on the higher time frames, which is this candlestick back here from April 3rd. This is where we have our drawdown in price, and we have our bull trend right here with a low, high, higher, low, higher, high. This is the last down candle before this up move where people were selling their Bitcoin. This has provided resistance on 4 separate occasions here before now we've finally broken above it. I talked about that in the last video, that it's getting weaker with every test, so eventually it is going to break above. And the trade that I am going to be looking for is a potential long off of the top of this zone. If we get 2-day candle closes above that, I'll use my long position tool here. If you don't know how to use this tool, check out our video where we break that down for you. But this essentially just helps us calculate our risk-reward ratio as well as our profit potential and our position size for the trade or investment in this case, because this is more of an investment. Let's say we go up to 70K. That will give us, if we enter on the top of that, about a 3 risk-reward ratio, meaning we'll make 3 times the amount of money if the price moves in our favor versus if we get stopped out. So I'm looking for 2-day candle closes above this gray zone, and this is our candlestick back here from April 3rd. So that goes from about 59.7 down to about 56.4. And importantly, if we do end up getting 2 candle closes above this candlestick right here, from the last 2-day candlestick, that's going to end up being a very significant support level as well, and that starts at 57.777. A lot of 7s there. That's my lucky number. So if we go down to the daily time frame here, we can use the Ichimoku cloud that I've been talking about for a very long time now, several weeks. I've been talking about this signal that just printed here on October 11th, waiting for this setup right here. So in the Ichimoku cloud, we're looking for the most bullish scenario to play out. That's where we need the cloud to be green. We need the Tenkin, the blue line, to be above the red, the Kijun. We also need price to be above all of that, and we need the Tenkin and the Kijun to be above the cloud. When we're in that scenario, we will see we're in a very strong trendingly bullish phase of the market. So that is where we are going to see high potential for higher prices. And that is what we're seeing right now with this increase in price of over 7% for the day. So I will just be continuing to ride this trend. I have no intention of selling this position in Bitcoin until we see something like this, where we get a candle close below the Kijun, the red line. Until that point, I'm going to be riding the trend very similar to this trend here, where you go long and then you're literally just holding, you're in the trade, you're still in the trade, and then the red, when the price comes down and touches the red Kijun line, you can add to your position. And then finally, when you get a candle close below that up here at about 53.8, that is where you sell. Right now, we're in the very early stages of this indicator telling us to go long. So I have no intention of selling this position anytime soon, and I plan on the prices going to new all-time highs based on this indicator. If we look at the SuperGuppy real quick, we can see that this is in the most bullish pattern that it can be in as well, with the longer term EMAs in green and the shorter term EMAs being in light blue. The longer term EMAs are telling us that if we come back into this zone, we should look to go long there, and those start at about 51.6 and go down to about 47.6. So I like to use those two indicators very often when it comes to making buying and selling decisions in the market. And those indicators are very simple and easy to use as well. So check those out on TradingView. You can find them if you go into the indicators and you look up in the built-ins. You can find the Ichimoku Cloud. And then my settings for the Ichimoku Cloud are doubled, so I use 2060 12030. And then for the SuperGuppy, this one is, pretty much I just take the arrows off of it. My settings, I just uncheck all these boxes. I keep everything else the same. And you can find that if you go into the public library and you look up SuperGuppy, and then, you're going to click the one that I have on right now, I think is the R1.0 by Just Uncle L. So you can check those out. And from a lower time frame perspective, we're currently running into a resistance level on the 12-hour, which is this white candlestick back here, right here, which goes from about 60,250 up to about 62,000. So that's going to be the area for resistance. If we go above that and we close two 12-hour candlesticks above that, that will end up being a support zone for price on a retest that you could potentially look to go long on. So that's all I got for this one, guys. If you like this video, please give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. And don't forget to join our Telegram channel. You can find a link for that in the description below as well. We host weekly meetups on Sundays where we discuss a variety of different cryptocurrency projects. We'll break down some of the basics as well, talk about some of the fundamentals, talk about price action, talk about DeFi apps, how to use things, how to set up wallets, how to do all sorts of stuff in crypto to generate yield and empower yourself to unlock a better life. So you can check that out using the link in the description below. And until next time, onward and upward.